How's it going on YouTube? KTA here, and I'm going to be showing you guys that tutorial I promised you guys a while ago, but here it is now, so I'm going to go jump right into it. So what we're going to be quickly making is just a simple running animation. To give you guys an example of what the end product should look like, it should look a little bit like this here. Nothing too crazy, but for a lot of new people getting into animation, this is going to be a pretty cool animation to make. So first thing you want to do is start off with a new template, of course. So what we're going to do is make 2 layers to begin with. So layer 1, we're going to just simply title that land, because that's where you're going to have your stage at. And then layer 2, label it whatever you want to make it. I'm just going to call it Sasuke because that's the character. Ignore the spelling. Now, another thing you want to do is change your frame rate. Normally, I animate at 24 frames per second, which is like the standard animation frame rate. It's really up to your preference, but 24 is a good standard. Now, one thing you want to do before we get started with anything else is go ahead and add some rulers. So quickly tap View, Rulers, and we're going to drag and drop these rulers around the stage. That way, we won't have to worry about animating off screen, because we'll always know where the boundaries are. Now, another thing you want to do is lock this first layer and go to the bottom layer, and we're going to import this stage. A quick little shortcut is hit Control R and it'll import it directly to your stage. Actually, here I'm going to do a little cheat sheet. Instead of importing the stage, I'm just going to drag and drop the old one because I don't know where I left this. So, all right, copy and paste. Now, what you want to do with this is just drop it on the screen, and you got a basic stage setup. First thing we're going to do is lock this layer and unlock the second one, and we're going to start the actual animation. And to do that, all you want to do is create a new symbol, and we're going to call this one Sasuke Run. What you want to do here is hit Control R and import whatever running animation you want to work with. Now for this file for Sasuke, it has multiple running animations, so I'm just going to pick whichever one looks cooler. Actually, this one, definitely. All right, and then we're going to hit yes for this prompt. And what you want to do right here is go to this last frame and highlight all the frames that don't include a running animation. So this is like the last animation part, and this next part does not have it, so remove it, and that just leaves you with the running animation. Now you want to zoom into the character. 800% helps a lot, because what we're going to try to do here is line up the character so he's not shifting around a little too much. Normally what I do here is grab a ruler, find a point of interest. It can be his belt or this Uchiha crest, which we'll use that. And I'll grab this part here and we'll line it up right here. And we're just going to go through each and every one of these frames and drag them to the center. Quick little pro tip, if you want to slide between frames quickly, just hit the period and the comma. Or go to this middle frame, activate the onion skins, and drop it down so it's only showing a frame behind. Go to the first frame. This actually is already perfect, so we'll go to the second layer here. And we're just going to drag him right on this cross. And same thing for the second layer, and so on and so forth. Perfect. Now, I'm going to take a quick little look, see how it looks. Not too much bobbing, which is fine. And quick little pro tip, if you guys wanted to loop the playback whenever you're previewing, just hit loop playback here under this control tab, and it'll just automatically play it back and forth for you. Now, what you want to do next is go back to this scene, and you're going to simply grab that Sasuke file and drop them in the middle of the screen, or wherever you want to have them. And next thing you'll do is scale them. So to do that, you just want to hit Control Alt S. And here you can put in whatever value you want, test it around, try different sizes, see whichever one fits what you want to do. But I usually use 400 for most of my animations, and I have a VCam that actually moves around. Anyways, so I'm just going to move them to the center of the screen, just to make it a little nicer. And we're going to jump to the 70th frame, insert a keyframe here. And for this lower frame, we're going to also insert a frame, not a keyframe. And you'll see why in just a sec. Now, for this top layer here, we're just going to hold shift and drag Sasuke a little bit forward, maybe to like half of his kneecap, like that. And what you're going to do here is just create a motion tween by right-clicking on the timeline and clicking create motion tween. And if you hit Control Enter, you already got a basic running animation. Now, what you want to do next is lock this layer, unlock the land layer, and we're going to do a little bit of editing with this layer. So first thing you're going to do, convert it to a symbol. We're going to call this a land. Double click that, and we're going to make an animation inside of this land part. So to do that, it's just simply going to hit Control D to duplicate this. And what you want to do with this picture is actually modify it hit transform, and you want to flip it horizontally. Nice. That way the sky kind of loops nicer, but it's not going to be that noticeable because we're going to add a blur later on to this. Now with this, you want to go to frame 9 and insert a keyframe. And with this keyframe, all you're going to do is hold shift, drag the entire layer across, and create a motion tween. That way the land kind of flows. And that way when we preview it here, just like this. We're going to add a filter now. So all you want to do is click the land, go to your filters under this properties tab, and then head plus. We're going to add a simple blur filter. Now for this one, you want to unlock this little lock here. That way you can control these independently. And you're going to turn the Y down completely to 0 and crank this up to about, we'll say 30. Now normally I actually use a high quality for the quality of this filter. You don't have to. For me, it's just a preference thing. Now I crank this up, we'll say about 55. This looks nice enough. And if you hit Control Enter, you already have it. And that's all there is really to it, to making a simple running animation. Of course, you can fine tune certain things. Like for instance, if I crank this up, I can kind of smooth this little gap. That way it's not as noticeable. But if you really want to remove that little gap, a cool trick you can do is double click this land filter. And what you want to do is break apart these images. So click break apart, and now it's highlighted both of them. So you're going to right click and hit break apart again. And all you'll do from here is highlight this middle portion, delete the gap, highlight this end portion, delete the gap, scroll to the other side, do the same thing here, and just combine the two pieces. So what you want to do here is hit clear frame, and you're going to insert a keyframe. You're just going to add that movement to this last layer. So simply hold shift and drag this across the screen. And we're going to add the create the motion tween, hit scene, and Control Enter. You got a smoother running animation. Actually somewhat better than the last one I did in terms of the background movement. But there you have it. Nice little running animation for you guys. Now if you guys want to see anything else, I will be adding a little bit more time and effort into this channel. I've cleared up a lot of stuff from COVID because I did get COVID 3 times over, so that kind of hampered a lot of things. On top of that, I had a graphics card that died, got a new one that died, and for some reason the old card started working, so I'm back to that. But if you guys want to see any more in terms of animations or anything on the new channel, let me know, and I'll see what I can do for you guys. I'll either make another video, hopefully not as long as the last one, and or I'll post a comment in the description. Post a comment in the comments. Jeez. Or I'll post like a reply in the comments for you guys. Either way it goes.
Yo, I got this.
Oh, damn.
Whoa.
You will not kill my ally.
How did you get that?
Oh, I fucked up.